So we. I have many.
Here we go.
Hopefully he just is able to do it on this. Well, and he, did he copy you on that email with his changes?
Here you go. Yeah.
He like wants the templates more.
Been trying to
All right.
reach you.
Your clicker should work now.
Hi, how are you?
And
I was about to ask you how the weekend went and then I remembered that we didn't. Let's say it.
good morning. Hi. Have you picked up your materials yet?
Do you?
Yeah, we got
some
some
of
of
them.
them. Look over there.
Over
here. Yeah, we
Oh,
printed
really?
some out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. You got a few people. More people on there, and then if you need to move this little thing.
Let's see.
Okay. I'm gonna not mess with the computer at all.
Perfect. Okay. Then we'll
In an
just set
effort
that,
to not break anything
let that sit there.
until the end, then we can like break it. Wait, once we've like done all of that. I feel like I don't know where to look because I guess like you are all there. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I am Rachel Warner. I'm the, oh gosh, I have a new title. I'm the Managing Director of Luxury Programs. I'm still getting used to that one. Mandy Forbeck is here. You will know and love her already if you worked with her on your listing projects or really anything else related to luxury. So it's been a long time. I was just talking about this earlier. It's been a long time since we've been here for an in-person training. So it's lovely to be back, even though it is like this like gloomy summer situation. But we've got lots of new stuff for you today. If you have been in a class with me before, you know that like this is not that serious. Please ask questions anytime you think of them. That's the point of this. If we don't even follow the slides, like not a big deal. So we want this to be helpful for you and what you all need wherever you are in your business right now. I'm going to throw a ton of information at you, but please ask questions at any point. So the Exceptional Homes brand, I think we're all familiar with this at this point, but we kind of have different like levels of awareness and what it means. Essentially, the Exceptional Homes brand is kind of synonymous with like luxury marketing and the luxury team at John L. Scott. It's all one comprehensive thing. So anytime you need help with anything related to luxury listings or building your business in luxury, that is where the Exceptional Homes brand comes in. That's where Mandy and I come in to help you with like anything, literally anything. So it's usually related to a luxury listing, but it may be something, you know, like business development that you're looking for, and we can help have those conversations too. So on the listing side of things, this is usually the most frequent question that we get is like, when do I use the Exceptional Homes brand? What does that look like? So you need to meet the minimum price requirement, which we'll talk about exactly what that is based on location, but it is location specific. And then you should, of course, have luxury features, amenities, qualities to the property. It's not just that you've got a huge chunk of land with a very tiny little cabin on it. And so your land is super valuable, but your cabin was built in 1972 and never updated. So thinking about, is this something that I really want to attach my name to as a luxury property? Do I actually want to market it that way? It's not really in anyone's best interest to call it luxury if it doesn't feel like luxury, right? And then the other item that we do sometimes get questions on is like, how many luxury properties do I have to have sold to use the Exceptional Homes brand? Short answer is 0. The brand is available for your listings anytime it meets the criteria. So even if it's your very first listing ever, or your first time doing something luxury, the Exceptional Homes brand is always available to you when the property itself qualifies. So on the pricing side of things, this is your breakdown of how you know exactly if it meets the minimum price, plus all the other stuff, right? So if you have a listing in Seattle, Mercer Island, anywhere on the east side, pretty much King County, all the way down to Renton, that's your border. If you're in Renton, you're kind of in that gray area of like, technically it's $1 million, but if it is $1 million and it doesn't feel like luxury, which direction do I want to go? So all of that area is a $2 million minimum. And then if you ever happen to have anything on Bainbridge Island, that is also 2 million. Everywhere else in the John L. Scott footprint is 1 million. So when the listing qualifies, you can of course use the Exceptional Homes brand, materials, signs for your listing. All of that is available to you regardless of how many listings you have done in the past. Okay, so when you are going on your listing appointments, what is available to help support you in that process? Lots of options. The black box listing presentation, so if you've been around for, let's say, 4+ years, you may be familiar with that very large, kind of looked like a leather box. It was massive. All the pages were three ring binder, hole punch pages, big squares. We got a lot of feedback that those were like annoying to carry around, really heavy, really bulky. So we kind of phased those out, and part of the new launch that, all of the stuff that came out on July 1st, we completely overhauled the luxury listing presentation. So those big black boxes are no more, but there are a lot of ways that you can use this presentation. So if you use Cloud CMA, when you go into the customize step, you change the theme of your CMA to the Exceptional Homes luxury theme. So that will like adjust your entire CMA from the green John L. Scott branding to the black Exceptional Homes everything. And then it pulls in all of those listing presentation pages. So you can pick and choose which pages from there you actually want to incorporate in. And then you customize your CMA from there with that listing presentation content. So it's literally like pick and choose which page you want. If you're not using it that way, or you want to do something else, you can do a digital presentation. It's on the Issue platform. So you have that like flip book kind of ebook option. Sometimes people like to do that on like a tablet or a computer in person. Sometimes people send it as like a pre-appointment or a follow-up just to remind your clients of everything that you discussed. You can also print it out. We've got PDFs. We've got a whole bunch of options for different formats. And then you can put it into Unibind covers. We've got Exceptional Homes exclusive designs there. You can bind it if you have some other binding system you like. You can, we have folders, brand new Exceptional Homes folders that are coming out, fingers crossed, in the next couple weeks. We also have, if you have the regular John L. Scott black boxes, like the ones that open from the top, the new Exceptional Homes versions of those are also available for packaging in the next, like, I think week or so. They will be available on the Bear site. They have like a placeholder and they are supposed to be in stock any day. So lots of options for how you can package that stuff up. We've got a whole bunch of additional stuff still coming as part of the launch. So there's going to be a bound, like actual physical book from Bear Printing that you can order. And then we're going to incorporate some custom pages into that. So if you want to add in like your bio and some recent transactions and all that kind of stuff and personalize it, that is all coming as well. So similar to like the buyers and sellers guides that you can customize in Canva, we'll have the same thing for this new version of the presentation. So lots and lots of options for that. We also really like to hear your feedback. So if you're ever using it and you're like, gosh, it would be really great if it did XYZ other thing, tell us. We will do our best to make that happen. And then a whole bunch of other stuff. So luxury portfolio, which we're going to talk a ton about. They have these really cool listing sheets. You can incorporate that into whatever format you're packaging it all up in. That talks about quite a bit about the national and international side of things, which is great, especially in a competitive listing situation. So you can go up against a Sotheby's and a Compass and a Keller Williams and a CB and still show everything that you're going to do that's just as good, if not better. So you're not just a local regional brokerage, you still have that same benefit. And then, of course, you can always reach out to us in advance. We are happy to give you, any talking points, any recommendations. And then the new thing, which we are really excited to be able to offer to the entire company now, is this Lux enhancement, which is essentially, we will go on the listing appointment with you. So if you really want someone to help kind of drive home the marketing message, you want someone to help talk about that luxury portfolio side of things, you just want someone to like walk into the seller's house with you and have this whole team approach and wow them and say, look, this is my dedicated luxury marketing team that's going to be on top of all of this with me. That is essentially what this Lux enhancement is. We've sort of offered this for years, but we've never really promoted it heavily. So now we are packaging it up with the rest of the program so that everyone knows. We have a 100% success rate so far with this. So there is something to be said for bringing other people with you, whether that's us, that could be Tony, that could be Eric, that could be whoever. Nice timing. But the whole point is we want you to feel really confident and win those listings. So yes.
How much like lead time?
Lead
do you
time?
need?
Great question. So in this kind of immediate area, typically we ask for at least a week if you can give that. If it's like farther outlying, like we're gonna have to drive more than an hour, we ask for closer to 2 weeks, just so that we can get schedules and coordinate everything. Obviously, we'll do our best to accommodate whatever you have, but if you can give us like, look, we're looking at these few days, times, et cetera, between us, we will do our best to figure that out. Because the whole point is like, we want to help you. So we'll try to figure it out and make it happen. But yeah, you can give us at least like a week in this immediate area, two if we're driving pretty far. 2 if we have to make like a road trip playlist, then we need more time. And so the way that the Let's Enhancement works is on our marketing site, which we're gonna talk a ton about. There's a quick little form, so if it's something that you're thinking about, you can put the information in there, say like, this is where the property is, this is what I know about it so far, this is what I know about the sellers, this is roughly where I think the price is gonna be on it. Send that to us with your estimate on when you think the appointment's gonna happen, and then we will do a lot of planning with you, because this is very much a consultation. So we wanna know everything that you know about the sellers, we wanna know what's gonna be like a sticking point for them, we wanna know, you know, if they're talking to someone else and you know who that is, we wanna know about it. Because we're gonna try to help with that strategy to make sure that you win.
Quick question.
Yes.
Would I be able to sit down with you and go through a listing presentation with you before? Meaning, just so I know what you guys are gonna present?
Yes, yep, that's
Yeah,
exactly.
like,
how
and
the-
I don't have a particular listing at this point, but if,
Yes.
you know, like sometime I could go over the whole listing thing with you, that would be really helpful to me.
Yeah, exactly. So we have, yep, we can look at the presentation together and then we can go through. So we have a lot of questions around like, what exactly does this look like? Which is a fair question, but truthfully, Mandy knows what I'm gonna say. Every single appointment is very different. And so there isn't really like this rubber stamp, one size fits all. There are things that we take on every single appointment. We are gonna bring data, we are gonna bring samples of marketing materials, we are gonna bring as much stuff as we can. For any possible question that we think they're gonna answer, but we really like go with the flow. It's still your appointment. We want you to drive it, but we are there to make you look good, essentially. Yeah,
And what about pricing?
pricing for us as the service. Great. That's where I was going. So you fill out that little form. We have this planning call. We make sure that it's a good fit, that we can get the schedules aligned. The way that the pricing works is we go on the appointment. Then you win the appointment, of course, because you won. Then when the listing closes, it is a 5% fee of your gross commission.
Okay.
Up to a cap of $5,000. So no more than $5,000, even if the listing's like $20 million.
Okay.
Then your marketing package, which we're gonna talk about next, is also complimentary, which is like all of your design services for all of your custom stuff. And then that gets credited back to you at closing as well. I feel like you had another question.
Yeah.
What was part two?
So besides the pricing and the help,
Yeah.
right? Just good to know.
Yeah.
Is like dialing in the pricing with the client. So is that something that we need to drive, or that's something that you guys are gonna help us with to be like,
Yes.
hey, Mr. or Mrs. Seller?
Yes,
Right.
good question.
Yeah.
Okay, so the pricing is still ultimately your responsibility. We are really focused on the marketing side of things.
Okay.
That being said, we will weigh in on whatever you want. Typically, what we would recommend for a luxury listing is that that is a two-step process. So that should be 2 separate appointments. The first time, and we will come to whichever one you want, but ideally it's 2 steps. We will go the first time, or someone will go the first time, and that's when you're gonna do a tour of the property, best case scenario. And then the follow-up is when you're coming back with your CMA, you're gonna drill into pricing because you know exactly what the home is like. And you've got their goals in mind, you have done a deep dive into your comps, you have studied the crap out of the market, you know exactly what you need.
Yeah.
So that should be the best way to do it. We will go to whichever one you want, and we will help weigh in and say like, okay, well, now we know what this one looks like, we've been through it, we see this flow, we see the other comps, we know what else is on the market. We know what time of year it is, because that's also gonna factor in. We're gonna talk about like who else is on the market, who else we think might come on the market. So we'll talk about all of that, but it is that planning call or calls before the appointment are super important.
Yeah.
Because we really want to know everything we possibly can. Like, we do a lot of research going into those appointments.
So from personal experience, the two things, and for those out in Zoom land, we went to a listing appointment with John Stein. I don't know if John's on the call, but they went through it, what, 3 or 4 times before we even went out there?
Yeah.
And they just come out as part of your team and they're not gonna take over the presentation. If that's what you guys are worried about. They're
No.
going to be an enhancement to you guys. It's like a team atmosphere. This is my luxury team that's helping me with the listing. It's so powerful when you go out there like that. I mean, John Stein got a $3 million listing from it because he took out the team. So I think for me, the value is 100% there. And then on a personal one, I mean, you guys can see. This is the newest listing that I'm gonna put out this week. And this is the items that were presented, but they went out there physically. And I've had nothing but a great experience with Luxury. So they really do help you get that final polish, what you need, especially if you haven't really done a lot of luxury. It really is an enhancement to what you guys are doing. So,
And we don't have to go on the appointment. If you just want to have a conversation or the timing's not gonna work, we're still gonna give you as much as we can. We're gonna give you handouts. We're gonna say you can print these PDFs. We're gonna give you talking points. Luxury Portfolio has some really great sheets that say like, if you are competing against these companies, make sure you hit these points. So we can give you all of that kind of stuff, even if we are not physically there with you. So. if-
Right, yeah,
We
like
want
if
to go help you.
a follow-up to like Tim's question, like if the timing doesn't work out, like if you want us to be like a sounding board for your listing presentation before you go, we can always have a call with you. You talk through your listing presentation, make sure you feel comfortable and set.
So we are happy to go, but we are happy to just plan with you too, whatever you need.
I think the thing that a lot of brokers don't think about is the fact that you're gonna be up against competition, and most of the time, majority of the time, it's with a big team. And they always bring in like some, all these other people who are supposed to be their experts that handle it, and.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are like, man, I wish I knew that you had this service before.
Yeah.
That we could have done this, because I know people who have lost listings because they just weren't ready.
We've
Or they
also
just
had people take it so far as to, like, even if we couldn't go on the appointment for some reason, we will give you our headshots and our bios, and people will put us into their content and just be like, this is my luxury team that's gonna help with all the marketing. We'll do that too, like whatever you need. So you use us. That's the whole point. Great questions. Okay. So then on the listing support side of things, now you have the listing and it's up to you to decide how much support, what level of service do you need for your marketing of the property. So we've got it set up. This is all kind of new for the July 1st launch. 3 different service levels for you to choose from. We'll give you the program guides that has all this in it also, just so you know. First option is like your self-serve. I'm going to use Bear Printing. I'm gonna use the templates. I'm gonna plug my photos in. I'm gonna do the copy myself, and I'm gonna order from Bear, and I've got everything that I need there. I'm super self-sufficient, or kind of similar to that, right? Option 2 is that middle level, which is all of the Canva templates that are available to you. So similar to Bear, but maybe McKenna's jumping in. She's doing a little bit more customization. You still have that full suite of brochures, flyers, features lists, postcards, photo books, all of the same stuff is available at each of the service levels. The biggest difference is the Bear Printing and Canva options are 3 styles for you to choose from. And then when you get into the full service side of things, so you're working through Mandy and I, that is a completely different set of 6 styles of materials to choose from, and they are exclusive to the luxury team. So that's the biggest difference. Everything is available at each level. There's just a little bit more customization, more support, more like you're working with us one-on-one if you go that far right side of things. So that is where the packages come in, which I was mentioning. So if we go on the listing appointment, then you win the listing, your package of your choice is complimentary. So it'll be credited back to you when the listing closes. If you do not have us go on the appointment, these packages are all still available to you. We have them set up, and you'll see this in the guide when I pass the guide out. But we have given you kind of rough guidelines of if your listing falls into this price category, this is approximately the package that we would recommend for you. So like up to 2 million is this level, usually like a silver. Gold is kind of that 2 to 4, and then platinum is your like top end of the market, right? If you have us go on the appointment, you can choose whatever package you want. So it's totally up to you. Either way, it's gonna get credited back to you. Each package you can also add on to with a la carte services if you want to customize it. The gold and platinum packages do have the custom listing websites included with them. So that's where we buy the domain and we build an entire website around just your listing. So when potential buyers or future clients are browsing that website, they are not distracted by anyone else's listings. It's just your listing, that site. And you've got unlimited photos, you can put your videos. Yeah,
How long does this website stay live?
great. So it is live for a year. We buy the domain for a 12-month period. Sometimes people will reuse that domain. So if it's a really generic option, they will cycle multiple properties through one domain. Other option is you can keep it live. Mandy always does a really good job of like, hey, your domain is coming up for renewal. Do you want to keep that and renew it? We'll tell you what that cost is gonna be. So you're not paying for the website again, you're just paying for us to renew that domain, and that is literally just the cost of the domain. Like, we are not making anything. It's like GoDaddy says it's $12.99 for another 12 months. So we will renew that, and a lot of the time people want that for future listing appointments.
Right.
So they can keep that live. If it's, you know, this is my favorite listing I've had and I really like the way the website turned out, then I'm gonna use that in my listing appointments in the future. So we are happy to renew those for you for as long as you need, but automatically it's a 12-month website. The other option on those is, so they come with what is like a little bit more of a templated website in the package. John is gonna be really familiar with this. John's Enenflaw listing that Tony was mentioning. We actually upgraded that website because it is exactly the type of property that warrants doing so. It has a main house. It has these kind of, you know, wedding venue related facilities. So you've got a whole bunch of stuff on the grounds. You've got, you know, bridal suites and groom's quarters and all sorts of stuff. And so it made sense for us to build a more robust website so we can really clearly show people what all of these spaces are without dumping everything into photo galleries where they're like, well, what is this? So it's all separated out. So we do have the option to upgrade all of those websites if you have a property that it makes sense for. And usually that is like, I have a main house, I have a guest house, I've got multiple videos, maybe I have more than one Matterport tour. So usually we'll recommend that if you get to that point, we upgrade your website, but we'll always talk to you about it.
You want me to talk to mine?
Sure, go ahead.
Rachel and Mandy were great. And they were crucial for me winning the listing. I was competing against at least one other agent. And I knew that the crucial edge that I could bring, because I knew the sellers and the sellers knew me. I had done multiple transactions with them over a 10-year period. So it wasn't that they didn't trust me, it's that all the other transactions were just regular residential homes. And they wanted, I mean, this is kind of their crown jewel. They wanted reassurance that they would be adequately represented and marketed. So having Rachel and Mandy as part of getting that listing was crucial, and then working with the client subsequent to that. The other thing that was nice is I used two different photographers. I used one, which is neither here nor there really, but I used one photographer specifically for the drone work because he specialized in that. And I used another for the interior stills. The one that I did for the interior came up with, I think, a total of 76 edited shots. And on the MLS, we can only use 40. So this is a great launch platform for using all those photos that you take because they're potentially unlimited. The videos, there were two videos that we used, both the same content, but one was labeled, which you can use for this. The MLS does not allow labeled, when I say labeled, it's
Branded.
branded, yeah, branded. So my picture, my logo, the John L. Scott logo, the multiple doesn't allow that. So I had the videographer come up with two versions of that, and that worked out well. We also decided to boost it for a week, and Rachel and Mandy were great with coordinating that with Nicole at John L. Scott. So this, to me, and I've done other luxury listings before. I think this is probably the most extensive one. I've done a couple over 1 million before, but this is really a very user-friendly, crucial edge that is just an estimable value, particularly if you're competing with someone else for getting the listing. Being able to not only market yourself, but market this is an integral John L. Scott resource is just huge.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what I was trying to get to with the websites is, of course, we want to make your sellers happy. And we want to sell the property, but more than that, we want to help you get more listings. So every listing is an opportunity to get more listings. And if you're not using every single one of your luxury listings to get more of them, then you're missing that crucial piece of it. So we are always trying to think through, yes, what does the seller need here, but also how can we tee this up for you to take this and package it up and have really good samples that you can then go win more listings with.
The other thing that was really nice is there are various, you mentioned the templates, the stylistic differences, is they're great in kind of sitting down with you and figuring out which one of those will resonate most effectively with the listing that you've got.
Yeah. That's the fun stuff for us. We get to look at, we were lucky enough to go see that property in person, just like we did with Tony's. And so we walk through it and we know what the flow is and we know, okay, architecturally, this is what it feels like. So at that point, we can start narrowing it down and say, okay, well, I think we're between these two styles of materials. And then the photos really tend to be the final deciding factor of like, okay, well, now we've got photos in, now we know that it's twilight. This is probably going to be the thing that's going to make the property shine the most in like a print format. So happy to weigh in, give you recommendations, talk through all of that every single time.
Rachel, who
Yeah.
builds the websites?
Great question. So usually it's Mandy. If it is the standard website, we use a platform that makes it super user friendly. So we do not have to get a web designer. No one has to code anything. But with that, keep in mind that they are somewhat templated. So there is a lot that we can customize, but there is some that we cannot. So if there is text with the address overlaying in this section, we probably can't move that. But if we go to that upgraded website, those are fully customizable. So we are bringing a web designer in, like John's website. This is the format where someone is coming in, there's a lot of code. We're building 3 separate photo galleries. So we're working all really closely together to get that set up. And with the websites or any of the materials, nothing is ever done without you looking at it, reviewing it, giving us feedback, giving changes that you want. Sometimes we bring the clients in and they're gonna weigh in on it. So there's a lot of like back and forth in that sense where we get it dialed in exactly to where you and your clients want it also. So it's a very collaborative process. And then some of the packages have like your social media, so static social posts. Every single package has a Facebook boost in it. So that's a $50 1-week boost where we handle all of that with the boost team, get that all set up. It's the Exceptional Homes branding. You've got postcard suites in some of them. So that's your just listed, pending, and just sold if you want that. What else? Emails, there's a lot of stuff available and you can always customize.
One caveat that, and this is kind of my decision process with this, I made a conscious decision on this listing not to use Matterport. And that's because that's had to do with the nature of the residents in the grounds. We thought that people would get really bored and frustrated with Matterport as opposed, so the juice really didn't warrant the squeeze and just having good images, good graphics, good video. But you do have Matterport as an option.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Matterport tends to be great up to a certain square footage. If you have something that gets really large, you're probably better off going video over Matterport. And you can still have it feel like a walkthrough. But you've got too much square footage for someone to click through every single one of those, you're gonna lose them, and a video is gonna be more engaging in that sense. So great point. But if you have all of that, if you've got videos in Matterport and all of it, regardless of which website, we can incorporate that all in. Okay, any other questions on packages or marketing materials? So then we get into the fun stuff. This is not necessarily listing specific. This is what is available to you, all of you, regardless of where you are in your business and how much luxury you're doing. The luxury market trends, this is the piece that I'm most excited about. I will leave several of these for you. This is our quarterly magazine. So this is 100% John L. Scott content. I'm like really close to the owl now. You got it close up. So this is all John L. Scott listings, and it is set up to be like, it's a hybrid. It's part magazine, part report. So similar to your housing updates, you've got data in here by market location. So there is a South King County, there's a Pierce County. You've got all of your data that you can study and share with your clients, but this very much feels like a magazine. So it is a beautiful piece. You also can submit properties to us. So if you have something that is a luxury listing and you want it featured in the next edition of this, send us your photos. That's a nice thing to be able to tell your sellers, look, I got your property into the John L. Scott magazine. It is customizable. So you go on the Bear Printing website, you put your photo and all of your information in there, Bear prints it and sends it to you, and now you have your own luxury magazine. You can send this out to your clients, you can do pop buys, you can accidentally drop a bunch of them in a waiting room somewhere, whatever you need to do to get these distributed. But it's a beautiful piece. I will pass a few of these out.
Yeah, how much are those? Do you remember?
That's a great point. We are up to like 30 something, 40 pages in there. I think the custom ones are like 5-ish a piece. So not
They did one, you said once a quarter?
once a quarter. Yep. So the
Thank you.
next issue of this will come out July, August, September, the beginning of October. So these ones are brand new in July.
So good.
So a really, really great piece, especially if you are trying to get more listings, personalize that, share it with your sphere. People before COVID were like, I'm gonna leave this at the doctor's office and the dentist and the massage therapist and the Jiffy Lube, like wherever. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if Jiffy Lube's luxury, but okay, maybe try Mercedes.
Hey, in the right area.
Whatever you need. Yeah. So we've got that. You've also got great data in there. And then we've got our housing updates. So these were all redesigned also in July, the luxury versions of these. Thank you. Yeah. So that is one of the pieces that we recommend, assuming that the property is in a location that it makes sense. Definitely make sure that you're personalizing your luxury housing update and taking that to the client with you. It is a great thing to study up on before your appointment. It is obviously separated out by price tier. So you can kind of like we were talking about with some of these sellers, you can look at that and say, okay, well, this is roughly how many properties are still on the market at the beginning of the month in that exact tier that you're going to list in. This is how many of them are actually going pending in the first 30 days. I would imagine that some of you have had the experience where your sellers think that they know how quickly things are moving, and it may not necessarily be what the data supports. So this is a great piece to put in front of them and say, okay, well, maybe that's what you heard, and maybe that was the experience for someone else, but this is what's actually happening. You in the 2 to 3 million price point, only 35% are actually going pending in the first 30 days. And you've got another 27 that were still on the market at the start of the month. So that's your competition in theory, and then you can refine it from there. So using this to help set expectations with your sellers is also a really, really good tool. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Exceptional Homes versions of all of the seasonal campaigns. So if you do not have your clients set up for those, they are in MyDesk/Engage. So you can sign them up to get all of the Exceptional Homes, like happy first day of summer branded to you for luxury. Okay, any questions on that before we dive into the certified luxury specialist? This is what I was mentioning earlier, so sometimes we get questions of, can I use the Exceptional Homes brand? Can I market this listing? Can I use the sign if I'm not a certified luxury specialist? Absolutely. The specialist is really on the personal branding side of things. So in order to earn this designation, you have closed 2 transactions that met the price point, all of the criteria, in a 12-month period. So that's either 1 million or 2 million. You used the marketing and you got 2 of them closed. Sometimes people are working with buyers. We will also accept that. So maybe you work primarily with buyers, maybe you've got a buyer and a seller, but that's how you got to your 2 transactions done. Once you earn this certification, you are in, so you don't have to recertify for this one. We'll also take 4 in 24 months, just in case they were spread out over time. So the difference here is that once you earn this certification, then the Exceptional Homes brand is available for your personal marketing on top of the listing side. So that's when you can get the Exceptional Homes business cards. That's when you can put it in your email signature. You can do a whole bunch of farming and you can position yourself as a certified luxury specialist. So that's more on the like business development side of things, but the brand for your listings always available. This group also gets invites to like events and trainings and things like that. So those are the other perks of this one. Okay, any questions on that before I turn it over to Mandy and we do a deep dive into luxury portfolio?
Will you automatically put people in, or do they have to ask?
For the certified luxury specialist? Oh, great question. There is a form that you are gonna fill out and send a quick little report. You or Eric is gonna sign it and say, here are the transactions. And then you'll send that to us, we'll review it, and then we will send you a confirmation once you're in. All right.
Okay. So I'm gonna talk about luxury portfolio a little bit. Thankfully, nothing's really changed here. So much of this will just be a refresher for you guys. But I'll talk about some of the services and benefits you guys get from luxury portfolio. So for those that don't know, luxury portfolio is the luxury division of Leading RE. So we specifically have this luxury division for all of the luxury properties. So a lot of those same benefits. And one of course, the biggest benefit is the national and international exposure. So you guys get this automatically with any of your luxury listings. So if it qualifies, once it's uploaded in the MLS, it will automatically syndicate to this entire list of syndications. It's totally free. Totally automatic, nothing else you have to do. So this is a great, of course, bonus point for any sellers. They get really excited about seeing this on these websites. We have like a nice little listing sheet that has all of these websites listed and like how to find it on each of these websites. So if you ever are looking for something like that, if the sellers want to know about that, definitely reach out to us and we can send that to you. We can always like help you find them on any of these websites and let you know about that as well. So there's a ton of benefits that are kind of like less listing specific with luxury portfolio. Some of these kind of include like the educational pieces around luxury portfolio. They do a lot of trainings, they do a lot of white papers, they do a lot of their own research into the luxury market. And of course, this is great for any luxury broker. It kind of sets you apart from others if you have all of this education and resources at your fingertips. So of course, Rachel's kind of already mentioned these listing sheets. These are really beautiful pieces that are great to put in your listing presentations. They go over like those statistics of what sets luxury portfolio apart, kind of like where they stand compared to all of the other brokerages. They're often at the top of that list. They have the biggest market share out of pretty much any brokerage in the country. So they're great to include in those listing presentations and kind of show how you're set apart by being a member of luxury portfolio. Additionally, as I said, we have like white papers and like deep dives into research. So you can always get copies of those. Again, you can print those out, share those with your clients. You can send them to them digitally. So that's just a great piece to kind of like stay on top of your luxury clients for any networking you want to do or anything like that. And then next, so these are Lux introduction letters. So some of you may have heard of these. We feel like this is probably one of the most underutilized tools for sure. This definitely sets you guys apart, because it is, as you can see, it's a signed letter from the luxury portfolio president. Currently, it's the leading RE president, because we don't currently have a luxury portfolio president, but it's signed by them. And it basically it says that you are a luxury portfolio member and how you are set apart by being that member. So you get 25 of these for free every year. They're super easy to order. You can either mail them. So if you give us the mailing address of your client, we can order that for you. Or you can email them if you're a little bit tighter on time. We definitely recommend mailing if you have the time. So it's just a great endorsement piece. It sets you apart. It gets sent right to the client. So then they open that up and they're like, hey, wow, this person's serious. So it's definitely a great opportunity for you guys. If you ever have questions about that or want us to help send those, we definitely can. It's all available on Lux Exchange. Hopefully you guys are somewhat familiar with that. If you ever want to get set up in Lux Exchange and be able to do this on your own, reach out to us. I think that's definitely a benefit too that's underutilized, is being able to do some of this on your own, so you can do it on the fly whenever you have something coming up. So if you ever want to be set up in Lux Exchange, need a walkthrough on how to do any of this, let me know. I'd be happy to walk you through that, and so that way you can send these on your own whenever you need to. So deep dive into Lux Exchange a little bit further, there's Lux Analytics. So Lux Analytics is their analytics side of things for all of your luxury listings. So anytime you have a luxury listing, you can go into Lux Exchange and then go into Lux Analytics, and they have a ton of data about your property. So they're basically pulling any of the analytics from all of those affiliated websites. So anytime your property is being viewed on those websites and then being taken to luxury portfolio, they're going to be tracking all of that data. So this is great to share with sellers, especially your data-driven sellers. If you have any of those engineers or anyone that's looking for that data, definitely I would recommend getting into Lux Analytics, seeing where your property has been viewed, and then you can either set these up in multiple different ways. You can get them emailed to a client like on a weekly basis. We prefer that you email them to yourself first, so you get a chance to look at them, kind of make sure everything looks good, and then share it with the sellers. But yeah, you can set that up via email, so it's automatic. You can print them out. You can do whatever you want for that as well. And then another benefit that we'd say is also definitely underutilized is our magazines, which you want to pass those out? Oh, sure. I'll show one. So these are the luxury portfolio magazines. Again, this is another beautiful piece that luxury portfolio puts out. They put out 2 of these issues every year. So one subscription makes up 2 magazines in a year. So what you get as a luxury portfolio member is you get 10 free subscriptions every year. So with these 10 free subscriptions, you can sign up your top luxury clients, and they will get these subscriptions, and they will get them mailed right to their door. And they often put a little sticker or like a little label on there that says like compliments of and your name on it. So this is a great piece, another good marketing tool to stay in front of those top luxury clients. Definitely underutilized. You get 10 free of these every year. So it's a calendar year. So if you do it in January, that following January, you can sign 10 more up. Let's say you haven't done it for this year. If you want to do it now, you can do 10 now, and then we can do 10 more in January. So it's every calendar year you get 10 of these. It's a great piece, as I said, so definitely underutilized. So if you ever want us to sign up clients for you, we can do that. Or again, this is something you can do on your own in the back end of Lux Exchange. I'd be happy to walk you through that if you ever want. 2 more options through luxury portfolio is Elle Decor and Gallery. These are just nice magazines. I'm sure many of you have seen them in magazine sections at airports or whatever, but these are great luxury magazines that luxury portfolio has basically a subscription with. So you can purchase these for just a little bit of a cost. So $10 for Elle Decor and $12 for Gallery. And they will be signed up to receive those subscriptions as well. So if you just want a little bit more, a little cherry on top, that's a great option as well.
And are those notes that are on there, are those saying that those are complimentary from us? You see,
Oh, the
Letter.
cards, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's what they do now is little cards.
Only on the, so luxury portfolio stickers,
Okay,
then
that's what I
the
thought.
other two send a card in advance.
perfect.
And that's a full year subscription for like $10 or $12.
Yes, again, that's, you can do that every year as well. So if you ever want to do that as well, you can do that. And then last, there are a few digital pieces as well through Luxury Portfolio. So the Lux Trends is essentially a monthly e-newsletter that you can sign your clients up for. Usually, they feature like their latest blog posts. So Luxury Portfolio, especially in these last few years, has been really great at putting out some good content as far as like design trends, even what's going on in the luxury real estate market. So some really great pieces there. So they'll kind of incorporate some of those really great posts into that. They'll sometimes feature some really great luxury listings. And then they'll usually have like a data section or something like that about what's going on in the luxury housing market. So if you want to sign any of your clients up for a nice e-newsletter from Luxury Portfolio, this is a great option. There's no limit, no fee, of course. So this is a good way to just kind of upload a bunch of contacts and get them on this list as well. Again, we can always help you out with this too. Yeah. Any questions? I think that pretty much covers luxury portfolio benefits.
Oh, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Newsletter, how do the contacts get imported? Is that from?
So that'll be on the back end of Lux Exchange again. So there's like a spot on Lux Exchange where you basically go in and sign up your clients.
Okay.
Again, any agent can do that on their own, but we can always help with that as well.
We can do like bulk uploads too.
Yes.
So if you have all of your contacts in something else, that's like the one downside of luxury portfolio is that it ends up being another database. But if you have everything in one format, we can just put them all into here for sure.
So you categorize them like and engage, but then take that list.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So speaking of Lux Exchange, this is just kind of the screenshot of the back end of how it works. So this link right here, maybe we can get this sent out to everyone.
You can send the slides.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can
for
send the
sure.
slides too.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll get this link sent out to all of you guys, but basically when you go here, it's a single sign-on process now, so it's pretty easy. If you're already signed into MyDesk, you shouldn't have any trouble just being able to get right in. So it'll take you to this page. As you see, this left-hand side kind of has all of your options here. Your properties will be at the top. You'll have that Lux Analytics. You'll have all those education options that we talked about, event calendar. That's one thing I didn't really touch on. They've done a lot of webinars and things like that in the past. They've kind of been a little bit on limbo with those right now, just as they're kind of changing some of their leadership. But they should have all of those on demand still. So if you're kind of looking to learn more about luxury in general, I would definitely recommend getting on that calendar, and you should be able to go back and like watch some of those on demand ones as well. But yeah, keep an eye on that for any upcoming events. And then again, like all that reports and research will be on that homepage, and then any advertising as well. I wonder, is there a slide in here about advertising? I can't remember.
I don't
Check real quick.
think so.
No. So very quickly, there is a ton of advertising options through Luxury Portfolio as well. So you can find all of that on the Luxury Portfolio website. So if you go into that toolbox there, it'll kind of show you like what's up and coming. Again, it's through a lot of those partners that you're automatically getting those syndications through. So like Wall Street Journal, Mansion Global, a lot of those really great sites. You can do additional advertising through them, both print and digital. So that's really great for those clients that are kind of looking for that extra little push. We have some digital ones that we really highly recommend, and then a couple of the print ones we like as well, like the print Wall Street Journal ad that goes out in like their weekly print magazine. So there's a few things like that that we definitely recommend. We have our favorites. So if you're ever looking for more advertising, definitely reach out to us or take a look on here and you can kind of see what's coming up. And then last, there's a marketing toolbox as well that kind of just talks about some of this general stuff that we've discussed, has a lot of these like listing sheets that we've talked about, things like that that you can download and just have at your fingertips. So yeah, all of that is on this Lux Exchange. It's pretty easy to access. Again, we'd love to get you guys all set up in it in the back end, so that way you can do this anytime you need to. If it's 10 o'clock on a Sunday night, you need to get something set up for the next day. It's great to just have this at your fingertips. But of course, Rachel and I are always happy to help with any of this as well.
Andy, is the dashboard, is that where brokers get their hits for their listings and
Yes.
information too?
Yep, so the home screen of it, as you can kind of see, it'll list the properties right away. Not a ton of statistics, but that Lux Analytics tab is over there on the left side, so that's where you'll be able to get more of that deep dive into the analytics.
Would this be a good spot or something within John L. Scott to get like stock, like photos or video or different things that we could add or use for like our own social media stuff?
Oh,
Social
actually,
media,
yes.
yes.
So actually, social media, that's a great question. We should have added that to this, actually. They have an awesome new social media platform that they just released, I think about 6 months ago. I think you can access it on this homepage.
You
I'll find
can
out.
access it on the homepage. They also released an app.
Yes, there's an app as well, which I'll talk about that in a second. But I'll make sure that you guys have instructions on how to get to it from this homepage if you want to do it that way. But also we'll send a link to download the app as well. The app's probably gonna be the easiest way, because then you can just have that on your phone, and anytime you want to post something, it's ready to go. It's super great. Basically they have a bunch of templated photos ready to go, and it's set up in a way that you basically click the photo. You push like share, and it'll open into like a share screen, and then you can choose,
I'll walk
like,
around with my
Yeah.
tiny, okay,
You
you
can-
can go in, you grab your content, you share it from here.
Uh-huh.
This is all in the LPI.
beautiful
app.
content, a lot of really great slides, like showing how we're connected by being a luxury portfolio member, some more design stuff, so like you can go a million different directions with it. But a lot of great, easy content right at your fingertips.
Your library content's in there. You can actually create a video within the app if you want to. So there's lots of stuff that you can do in here, but yeah, it's all like plug and play.
Yes,
Love it.
yes, super great.
Isn't it true that EXP and Compass are still trying to become, they want to be members, but they won't allow them? Is that
Yes,
still?
that is true. So,
Just asking.
yeah, we'll talk about that. That's more fun. Okay, so does anyone know who the actual luxury portfolio members are? Besides John L. Scott in our market?
Windermere.
Windermere, yes, yeah. So the only other member is Windermere locally, so. In theory, if you're competing against someone from Windermere. There is a very tiny chance that they are using this, but it is very small.
They don't utilize it the way we do,
They
though,
don't.
not
They
even
do not.
close.
They really
I
don't.
have a ton of friends that work there still and like.
Yeah.
They know nothing about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do not know. So a lot of this is totally free content. Of course, there is stuff that you can pay for, but
Mhm.
so much of this is like free stuff. The social content, the blog, the letters, the magazines, the e-newsletter, like all of this stuff. So this is something regardless of where you are in your business. Please take advantage of this. This is awesome content.
Yeah, the educational side of things is just as good as anything else you can get. So if you're really trying to break into luxury, start here for sure.
There are, like, all of the research and white papers are available. Almost all of the webinars that they have offered in the past are recorded. So if you ever want to go back and revisit this or have like a quick little video that says, hey, this is how you find XYZ thing on the back end, all of that content is in there. You could quite literally spend an entire day in here and still not find everything. So there's a lot. Don't get overwhelmed. Let us know if you ever are looking for something and you're like, I don't know where it is. But there's a ton of stuff in here.
And how would people get on?
Dashboard.
Which we'll make sure you guys have access to.
Is
But
that-
again,
When you log in, is that how you get your company code for the app?
Yes, the company code
It's in
is
the
there.
Dashboard?
We will send out the like step by step, this is
Right.
how you get access to all of this, because you do have to put in that like 4-digit code.
Awesome.
But yeah, you can grab it. There's actually even a like Word document that has, if you don't want to have to write the captions yourself for all of the social content, you can grab it all off of a Word document and then just copy and paste that onto your social.
And that company code is what puts it in as John L. Scott, so then
co-branded,
everything is co-branded, which is awesome, of
Yeah.
course.
So lots and lots of pretty stuff. Did you have a question? Yeah.
I do, you may have already mentioned it, but, if we, have a listing that qualifies, how much time do you need in order to come to a meeting or to meet with our clients?
So we ask for about a week for anything local, so anything like in this immediate area, that's a pretty easy drive. We ask for about a week notice, so that way we can get our schedules together. If it's gonna be a little bit further of a drive, as Rachel said earlier, like a playlist worthy drive, then we ask for about 2 weeks notice, just so we can check our schedules for that. I think timeline in general would be a good thing to talk about too.
Yeah.
Not only for that listing presentation side of things, but also for any marketing materials, if you just want to use us for those services. So of course, as much notice as you can give us is very appreciated. Preferably if you can like let us know 1 to 2 weeks that, hey, I've got a listing coming up. I really want to use you guys. This is kind of what I'm thinking, etc. Then we can kind of get that on our calendars and get started. We ask for the order form to be submitted about a week in advance. You do not have to have the photo link done at that point. It's great if you do, of course, but we understand sometimes photos are a little bit sooner to the list date. But yeah, so if we can get that order form about a week in advance, we can start prepping these materials. As we talked about, there's about 6 different designs to choose from. So if we know which design that you would like to go with, we can start getting that prepped with all of your information, all the listing information that we do have. And then when photos come in, we can basically plug and play and finish those up and get those to a printer. So it's nice to have about a week notice, get everything prepped. Same with like building a website and all of that. Again, those more elevated websites take a little bit longer since we're doing coding and working with our web designers. So again, the more time that we have, the better for sure.
Yeah.
And all of that's in that program guide as well. We have a nice little timeline
a
calendar
rough-
laid out.
Best case scenario for
Yes.
your sellers, again, like trying to set expectations so that they are not, you know, the day that photos taken, rushing
That's
you
what
to
this
immediately, yes.
Yes.
So,
And-
they will try to
Yeah.
list the second that photos are taken,
Yes.
but like.
We
get your
recommend
marketing
not.
done.
And for luxury listings as well, we recommend listing on potentially a Wednesday or Thursday, especially for these luxury portfolio benefits. Because that takes about 24 to 48 hours to get all syndicated. So in order for that to hit before the weekend, which is definitely preferable, we prefer like a Wednesday or Thursday listing.
Yeah, if you list on a Friday, it will not be live before your opening weekend. Nope. So keep that in mind for your sellers. The other question that we've had a few times since we've launched this is whether or not this program guide is something to show to your clients. Please don't. You could in theory, but the biggest reason not to is if you start showing them packages, they're all going to want the platinum package. So unless you intend to give everyone the platinum package and you're gonna use this like a car dealership situation of like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for you every time, then they're all gonna want that. So it is better to not open that can of worms unless you have already made up your mind that you are going down that platinum package route. Most of this is like information for all of you. We will be launching some more pieces like to incorporate into those listing consultations that will help like pull out that timeline, pull out some of those other kind of pre-list checklists and all of those types of things that you can take on your appointments too. So yeah, if you're gonna go platinum for everyone, have at it, but if you're not going to, watch out.
Or if you're going to pay me a commission of X cookies, you get this, but if you pay me Y cookies, you get this.
Right, good job with that,
Yes.
Scott.
It's like,
Any other questions for us?
Yes,
Yes?
in the quarterly, can you get the other broker's information removed if you're going to go ahead and brand it yourself in the back?
oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
If you get it branded and you're gonna spend the money to get those out, you probably don't wanna call them the brokers. the inside.
That's a great point. It is not set up that way currently. Let me look into that.
Yeah, I think that maybe depends on if we go back to those things.
You'd have to change page counts. It is not impossible. Let me look at it.
Unless I slept through it, which is a distinct possibility, as Eric can attest, this is way more, this is for anyone who's known me for 5 minutes in a company briefing. This was a way more detailed briefing than the Zoom class you had.
Yes.
So,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
especially when you went into luxury portfolio.
Yeah, the webinars that we've been doing for the launch are really just like hitting the things that are new. This is a little bit more of what's available and then diving into like the marketing side of things and the luxury portfolio side of things. This is still really kind of the tip of the iceberg. We could talk all day, but you would fall asleep. So we don't. But you please like do not hesitate to save our information. You can email luxurymarketing@johnscott.com anytime you need anything. I was telling someone recently, if you are going, if something is urgent, I mean, call or text, but if you're gonna send an email that is time sensitive to luxury marketing, please put something in the subject line that says like, help fire, this is really important, so that we don't just like.
Yeah.
We try to get back to you really quickly and we do our best, but if we don't know that there is a time sensitivity, it might be like at the end of the day as opposed to within an hour, so.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of influx right now just with all the new stuff, so definitely let us know if it's urgent.
So yeah, if you have something that's like, hey, this seller needs to know this thing in the next hour, or I'm gonna lose the listing. I mean, probably call us, but you can also send an email that says like urgent, all caps, red, bold, fire emoji. And then like the conversation we were having earlier, if you want to borrow/steal any of our social content, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel, by all means, please do that. That's what it's there for. If you have a listing that you want us to promote on the Exceptional Homes accounts, you can send those to us. We will do our best to get them into the schedule.
Yes, that's what I source all content for social media as well as the luxury market trend. So I'm always looking for people to give me stuff. So I will seriously take anything. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
You have mine in, maybe?
So that came out before, but social media, yes, I'm gonna get it scheduled and we'll definitely work on getting that in the next one.
All right, anything else? We'll leave a lot of samples for you. We've got all kinds of brochures, flyers, postcards, photo books, guides, magazines, other magazines, a little of everything.
A couple of things that I was able to capitalize on with mine is that they have some recommended photographers, they have some recommended printers. That was really worthwhile for me to take a look at as well. And the printer can drop off either at Renton or at Bellevue. The brochures and whatever.
Or if you have a print vendor that you like, I mean, we will send stuff to Bear all the time, but if you have someone else local that you like, let us know. We are still, well, we're always adding to our list of like good quality, especially timely printers. So the one that we've been using most often, he is a little bit of a drive for you all because he's out in Fall City, but he will do his best to deliver to Bellevue, Redmond, Renton if he can get there, just depending on volume. So yeah, we'll always give you recommendations on any of those services that you need. All right. If you are on Zoom, samples will be in the office for you. Any other questions? We'll hang out for a little bit too. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
I don't think you're getting out of here alive without.
Great.
Yeah, because I want to make sure that all this stuff. is-
Yeah.
So we'll just, we'll pick up at the market.
Yeah, I'll email.
Yeah, if you wanna see Tony's
Yeah,
great
if you
new
want,
listing,
if you wanna see
little
Tony, if
sneak
you wanna see
peek.
John's,
Yes.
if you wanna see we have like something from all of the different styles.
Teachers trip was so good, yeah.
I have two questions.
Yeah.
Bye, you guys.
Oh, you're good.